Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
I'm Ryan Newman.
And I'm Trey Newman.
All right, in this episode, we're going to preview the national championship game between Georgia and Alabama being played in Indianapolis. We'll give our predictions at the end of the episode, but we've got some made-up prop bets to get to first. So, Ryan, what'd you come up with?
All right, my first prop bet here is who's going to have more receiving yards, Georgia's Ladd McConkey and Brock Bowers going up against Alabama's Jameson Williams. So 2 against 1 there. Who's got the higher total?
I'm still going to go with Jameson Williams. I know Georgia's game plan, of course, will be to not let him beat them again, as he had 184 yards in the SEC title about a month ago. One, that's obviously easier said than done. But two, when I look at it, like McConkey, he's only gone over 62 yards once, and he averaged about 30 yards a game. Bowers, he did put up 139 versus Bama, but a lot of that was kind of in the second half when Bama was playing a little bit softer, when they had that bigger lead. Georgia was in comeback mode. So I do think it's a good kind of 50-50 proposition, good question, but I just have more confidence that Jameson Williams is going to get the touches.
I agree. I'm going with Jameson Williams there. I kind of put the McConkey and Bowers over-under somewhere around 100 yards, maybe 70 or so from Bowers and 30 from McConkey, give or take. And with Williams, he's been well over 100 yards, 6 of the past 9 games. And, I'll get to it later with a bold prediction I have, but I'm high on Williams in this game.
All right. Moving on, we're going to look at the over-under of 130 rushing yards for Georgia. What do you guys think? We know they might not rely solely on Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, this is a tough one, especially because any sack yardage from Will Anderson and crew count against the rushing yards. I'm going to reluctantly go over for Georgia, though. I know they only had 109 rushing yards in the SEC title against Alabama, but they were, especially in the second half, they were playing from behind. That entire second half, Stetson Bennett had to throw 48 times in that game. So I don't think he'll have that many pass attempts this game. I think it'll be, hopefully for all of us, a closer game, and Georgia will be able to run the ball a little bit more.
Okay, I'm going to go the other way. I'm actually going to take the under on 130. It's very close, no doubt about it. But as you did mention, they were 21 yards short of that in the SEC title game. And, coming around the second time around when you've seen an offense, I don't know, for some reason in my eyes, I feel like the defense maybe gets a little upper hand after seeing them already before. So, and I know Bama coming into this game, they have to be thinking, if we shut down Georgia's running game, they don't see a path for them to beat us. So I think they're going to be really raring to go. I mean, it's going to be tough for Stetson Bennett to just carry the team. So they need to find some success on the ground. And I think Bama's going to be ready for that. So I'll slightly go under.
Okay. My prop bet for you guys, over under 70.5 rushing yards for Alabama running back Brian Robinson Jr.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But I'm going to go over. I will. Georgia, I mean, they're extremely tough to run on, no doubt about it. But Robinson's coming off a huge game against Cincinnati where he ran for over 200, best game he's had. And, he's feeling good. He's clearly the guy. They kind of didn't usually feature him all that much throughout the year. I felt like they could have used him more. But against the better teams, they really feature him a little bit better. So with him coming off that great game, I like the confidence there. And also without maybe Mechie on the perimeter, I think maybe they're going to try a little put more emphasis on the running game. And they obviously did that against Cincy really well. So I'm going to say he gets over that.
My natural inclination was to kind of go under just because I'm pretty confident he won't come close to that output that he had last week against Cincinnati. But especially I was leaning under because of at the end of the year when they faced Auburn and then Georgia in the SEC title, he had under 70 yards. But I decided to go over just because I was thinking about the game plan, and I feel like Bama beat Georgia through the air last time, and certainly they'll try to, of course, but I think they might do a little bit more emphasis on the ground game, as Georgia might have a more concerted effort to stop the pass. So Robinson could have an extra hole or two to get bust through.
Okay, let's get to our bold predictions for the game. Ryan, what do you got? Better be bold.
I think it's rather bold.
Okay.
So Georgia kicker Jake Podlesny, he will win the game on a 39-yard field goal.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's bold.
And there will be exactly 32 seconds left on the clock when he makes that field goal.
He's really calling his shot.
Hey, the Mike Blowers thing here. I'm going for it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Mike Blowers' prediction and you'll be amazed. But yeah, it'll be the second year in a row that he wins a bowl game on a last second field goal. He did it last year in the Peach Bowl against Cincinnati.
Okay. My bold prediction has to do with Jameson Williams, we were talking about earlier. I'll say he'll set a new career high in receptions in this game. So his previous high is 10. He's done that twice. I'll say he gets 11 receptions because, as we've also mentioned, John Mechie, of course, not healthy in this game. He was there, at least for the first half of that SEC title, and had a big game. And, I mean, they've been kind of neck and neck this year. Of course, Jameson Williams had more yards, but Mechie had over 1,000 yards as well. So without him, I mean, it's Jameson Williams. He is the clear feature guy, and, he had a big game last time, so why not do it again?
All right, Michael, our bold predictions are kind of going up against each other because I'm going to say that Stetson Bennett will throw for more yards than Bryce Young. It would be a massive underdog in the market because FanDuel actually has Young favored by about 70 yards. But I think there's a couple ways this can happen. One, Bama could once again get a big lead, and Bennett could get a lot softer coverages to come back. And then two, like I mentioned earlier, Bama could focus more on the run this time around, and Georgia's front seven could really get to Young like they did to almost every other quarterback this year. Didn't have as much success, of course, in the SEC title, but maybe this time around they do.
Okay, let's give our ultimate score predictions and against the spread picks here. Trey, back to you.
I mean, you got to lay it out. Bama has owned Georgia. They've beaten them 7 times in a row. That includes 3 SEC titles, a national championship. So if you ask the average fan out there, they'd say Bama will win because they beat them just a month ago. But odds makers didn't overreact. I'm not going to either. Georgia, they were favored 6.5 a month ago. Now Georgia's still favored. I'll admittedly look like a fool in hindsight going against Bama if they win, but I'm going to take the Bulldogs. One thing to remember about that SEC championship was Georgia got down in the red zone a couple different times early in the second half, but came up with 0 points. Then they had a pick six later. So it's not that far-fetched to think the result was a bit misleading. To Bama's credit, their offensive success was impressive. That wasn't misleading. But I think Georgia, they got their wake-up call. They really proved it in the Michigan game that they're more than legit against obviously a top opponent. And I feel like, we've talked about it before. Bama's issue is their offensive line. It wasn't perfect against Georgia, but it faltered. It was perfect against Georgia, but it wasn't so perfect against Cincinnati is what I was trying to say in pass production. So I think Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, they're coming off a huge game. They're going to get pressure. And I just think it's not going to be all on Bennett's shoulders. They didn't have the opportunity to get that ground game going. I think they will. Georgia's going to win 24-20.
Okay, so you've got Georgia -3 there. And, yeah, I mean, the Georgia -3 spread doesn't surprise me. It might surprise some people because, Alabama just put it to them a few weeks ago. But that's just one game, and it's one iteration of that game. But, the game the week before where Alabama almost lost to Auburn, that's part of their resume as well. But still, though, as far as my thoughts on this game, I can't resist taking 3 points with Nick Saban and Alabama. Like I said, I think Jameson Williams is going to have a big game again. They showed a few weeks ago they can protect Bryce Young well enough. And even when they don't, Bryce Young is able to, improvise and make plays. And their receivers, or at least Williams can get open against this Georgia secondary.
Hey, Slade Bolden's all right.
Yeah, sure, why not? And Ja'Cory
Billingsley.
What's that?
Billingsley.
Billingsley, Latu, why not? Ja'Cory Brooks had a big game, so or not a big game, but he had I think 3 receptions against Cincy. Just getting his feet wet,
Yeah, he caught the ball.
But I do lean towards, so I'm taking Bama with the points just on principle, Saban +3. But I do lean towards Georgia winning the game. So my score prediction, 28-27 Georgia. And the reasons I like Georgia to win, no Josh Jobe at corner this time around for Alabama. Armour Davis, of course, another corner is, I don't know if he'll play, but he definitely didn't look 100%. They had to kind of bench him in that Cincinnati game. Stetson Bennett, I think, will play better this time because of those losses for Alabama. And then with John Mechie out at receiver, Alabama's a little bit easier to defend.
Yeah, and, I mean, I'm only helping your case and not mine, but Bama's got a couple of linemen that are maybe a little questionable heading into this game. So,
yeah, they had two guys go down last game, so that's another issue. Yeah,
so we're not positive on that, although they seem to do just fine. But I'm going to pick Bama plus the 3. I do like that, although my score prediction is an exact push, 24-21 Georgia. I have winning. However, I do feel if it's going to break one, teeter either way, I do think Bama's more likely to kind of either win straight up or at least just cover that 3 points. And like Trey said, 7 straight wins for Georgia or for Bama against Georgia. Like Michael said, it's Saban, like plus 3. Give me a break. I can't, and it's so hard to just go against that. How do you give points against Bama and Saban? I just, especially when they just beat them a month ago, and I can't do it. No matter what the metrics would say in this scenario, it could be clear that Bama or Georgia is just the far better team, but in my head it's just like I can't. There's just no way. It's just not possible. So I'll say it's I'll take Bama if I'll bet it, but I'm hoping for a Georgia victory, honestly.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure on. I mean, it's a national championship. There's pressure on both teams, but Georgia, there's an extra bit there for Kirby Smart. This is kind of feels like the year. So it will be fun to watch, that's for sure. Thanks for watching this episode of the College Football Bros. Let us know in the comments below your score prediction in this game and the reasons why, and enjoy the national championship.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.